It's time now to turn our attention to today's business news, starting with a big blow for the United Kingdom, one that will cost some 700 jobs. To tell us more, we're joined in studio by Anka Ula. Indeed, Anka, what is this story about this massive job loss in the UK?
Well, you know, Eve, it's a concrete example of how Brexit is affecting investor confidence in the UK. Japanese car maker Nissan announced it's moving production of its new X-Trail model back to Japan, citing Brexit uncertainty as one of the reasons for doing so. Now, 2 years ago, Nissan confirmed that the X-Trail would be made at its British plant in Sunderland, creating 700 new jobs after receiving assurances from the government. Now, those assurances apparently are no longer enough. Shirley Sitbom reports.
Nissan's latest X-Trail, the model the British government was proud to bring home, won't be manufactured in the UK. Nissan confirmed the news with a letter to employees and this statement, blaming leaders' failure to negotiate a Brexit deal.
While we have taken this decision for business reasons, the continued uncertainty around the UK's future relationship with the EU is not helping companies like ours to plan for the future.
The trade deal is crucial for Nissan. First, it relies on so-called just-in-time production techniques. This means it always needs quick part supplies from EU countries. And Nissan uses the UK as a gateway to Europe. Without a deal, that gate would be shut.
That is a serious signal to all of us in Parliament that now is the time to resolve that uncertainty so it doesn't impinge on any decisions in the future. People can invest with confidence in Britain.
Nissan's decision comes at a difficult time for the car business. Production dropped in the UK by 9.1% last year. Investments were down 46%, and manufacturers continue to face a crackdown on diesel.
Let's take a quick look at what's happening on the markets. Some slow trading in Asia ahead of the Lunar New Year celebrations, with mainland Chinese and Korean markets both closed. As you can see, Hong Kong and Nikkei both in the green. Tokyo closed up almost 0.5%, despite shares of tech giant Sony closing down 8%. Now, similar slow start here in Europe. Markets opened mixed after stronger than anticipated U.S. jobs growth last week. London's FTSE in Frankfurt slightly above flatline. Paris CAC 40 down 0.1%. Well, finally for me, in South Africa, thousands of leaders in the international mining industry are descending on Cape Town for the African Mining Indaba, the biggest annual mining industry gathering in the world. Now, France 24's regional correspondent Aisha Ismail is attending the conference for us. We're going to speak to her soon in just a moment. First question for you, Aisha. What are some of the main themes this year?
Well, this is, of course, the largest gathering of investors and mining executives. We will see in attendance, there are two presidents who will be addressing this gathering, the president of South Africa and the president of Ghana, including 35 mining ministers and the most influential mining executives on the continent. Now, of course, some of the things that they will be discussing is how far the mining industry has come, but most importantly, what the future holds for mining on the African continent. Now, they will be focusing, of course, on investment. But besides investment, they will also be looking at eco-mining and also women in the mining industry.
Well, Aisha, while mining companies and countries in Africa are trying to attract more foreign investment, they're also looking to boost the local economy. That's been difficult in the past. What are some of the obstacles to achieving that goal?
Well, some of the activists, and particularly here in South Africa, are saying, of course, it is important for governments across the African continent to attract investment, but this must not be at the expense of the local people. They're talking about the fact that the level of corruption is so high amongst governments and government officials, where foreign investors are able to bribe government leaders, able to bribe government officials to avoid taxes and to flout regulations. And what they are also saying, that it is important to also to empower local communities. Some local communities have been moved. They had to move because of mining taking place in these areas, and because of this we've seen that they've not been compensated, and some of them did receive compensation, but this has been very little. But the main problem that activists have is the question of corruption at the highest level of government.
Thank you very much. That's Aisha Ismail reporting from Cape Town at the African Mining Indaba. Eve, that wraps up the business segment. Back to you.
Thanks, Anka Ula there with our business update.